Welcome to Buddy Banter Podcast, the podcast that ignites the flame of inspiration within you. In a world filled with noise and distractions, we invite you to join us in this sacred space, a sanctuary for your mind and soul. Here we embark on a journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and transformation. This episode is a stepping stone towards uncovering the incredible purpose that resides within us. Are you ready to awaken the extraordinary within yourself? To tap into your inner potential and embrace a life filled with meaning and impact? Then you, my friend, have come to the right place. So let's dive on in, explore the depths of our potential, and embark on this magnificent voyage together. So,
Pepsi Max.
Pepsi Man. You know what? I used to drink, which is another topic that we can talk about. I used to drink Pepsi by the 2 liter. I would never pour it into a glass. I would never, it was straight out of the bottle, 2 liters. I would go through 2 liters of Pepsi in, a day or an evening. And like, I don't know, all of a sudden, last maybe 3 years, 4 years, I haven't had one. But I used to do that when I was younger, like in my mid-20s. And then it died. I killed it right off. Just like smoking. I used to be a smoker and I used to smoke all the time. And I quit that just, bam, overnight. Just because it was the right thing to do. So, what I want to start with on today's topics on the Buddy Banter podcast, Combo and Brownie are the only ones here today because I didn't bug anybody else. We're going to talk about a movie that we kind of didn't have time to touch base on last podcast. Topic of conversation that I wanted to touch base is one of the wonders of the world, Mount Everest, and if we would ever climb Mount Everest, and if we would or not, what would be our reasoning for it? Because Mount Everest has always been like top of my list. Like it's such a wonder that I will make it there one day, and then we will transition into
It's pretty much everyone's bucket list, isn't it? Before they die.
I don't want to climb it. We'll get to that. Hold on. We'll get to that. Let me share my screen on this because I think that this is going to be huge. And of course, once I looked into it and I discovered who the main actor was going to be in this movie, he's just he's made for that role. Like you can't have anybody else playing that movie but that guy. Which this is still super slow, but perfect. Now I'm doing it properly this time. So Five Nights at Freddy's is coming out, and I've never played the game. Brownie, I know you've played it. We'll touch base a little bit on that, and you can give your insights about one, playing the game, and two, how it would play out in real life. But I've seen YouTubers play the game, and honestly, I think this is going to be a very interesting movie.
Hi, this is Mike. I was just calling to see if that job that you offered was still available.
Yes. The security guard.
I will take anything.
This place was huge in the 80s with the kids. They shut it down years ago. The owner's just not ready to let it go yet.
I will work and you will sleep.
I understand.
Give me your hand.
All you have to do is keep your eyes on the monitor.
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's, where fantasy and fun come to life.
Okay.
Halloween.
You must be
Yeah, it's
new
next
security
week.
guard.
Can I help you, officer?
Have you met them yet?
Met who?
It's gonna be good.
Them. In the 80s, kids went missing. The police searched Freddy's top to bottom.
Hello?
They never found them. That's why the place shut down.
There are ghost children possessing giant robots. Thanks for the heads up.
Technically, they're animatronics.
What do they want?
They want to make her like them.
Papi! Tell me how to stop them.
It's too late.
Papi, go!
Where to? Why do I always get the weirdos?
Okay. Let me take this off. Okay. Again, I've never
The
played
kids
the game.
want to see.
Okay, go ahead.
So basically, you play a security guard, and you, as I say, you got to keep your eyes on the mechatronics and try to stay alive. We all know Markiplier. He loved the game.
Oh yeah.
He loved it to pieces.
Yeah.
Uh,
But hold on.
what?
Hold on. Before we go any further on that aspect, from what I have always, okay, so you're a security guard at Freddy's or Five Nights at Freddy's or whatever it is. But what does the kid have to do? I understand a movie has to have a storyline, but in the game itself, if you're following the storyline of the game, for example, there's your only thing is to survive. That's it.
Survive till 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right. So I like the idea of, you know, making movies out of games or games out of movies or vice versa. But when I saw like the trailer, which was the first time I seen the trailer, it started off to be what Five Nights at Freddy's the game is, and then you're involving now it's kidnapping and investigations, and I don't know. It's interesting to
So
see.
basically, in the actual first one of the games, apparently if you get caught by the mechatronics, it's like, wait a minute, you're not one of the staff members, so we're gonna have to dress you up like one. So basically, they take you apart and put you into one of those suits. But in the game, in the first one, it was like staying up till 6 o'clock, make sure you don't get killed by the mechatronics. But the second one, the third one, and all that, they start building a storyline. Said an accident happened with a child.
Oh, okay.
So I want to see how this movie, how it works with the actual game. If it actually stays with the actual game line, if you know what I mean.
Well,
Unless it's going to like take it from a different path.
But that's what I mean. That's exactly what I just said. It started off when you're watching the trailer. It started off to be the game. You're a security guard and you're watching this Five Nights at Freddy's place. But then it seemed to me like it veered off what the game was about and went into, well, now it's not about being a security guard and surviving. Now it's about, you know, protecting and saving my daughter because these robot creatures are trying to make her one of them. So it's more of a they're trying to kidnap her in a sense. So I don't know. We'll have to watch the movie and see, right?
Yeah, I say me and Cal got to watch the movie first before we can let the kids watch it because you don't know how graphic it is. Did it actually say what rating it is? If kids can watch it.
Going to look at this right now.
Because I say I haven't seen no ratings or pretty much any advertisements for it.
It's going to be rated PG-13. Right now, the popularity's down. Like I always go on IMDb, and the popularity it's down. Rated PG-13, an hour 50 minutes. Released in Canada anyway. It's supposed to be released October 27th. So I don't know about you guys in the UK, but
Yeah.
and even then, when I seen the cast, it said Matthew Lillard, which I can't. Yeah, Matthew Lillard. He's right at the bottom of the list, and it's Scooby Doo. Of course, if you're gonna have a goofy goofball being a security guard, and then watching the trailer, it's not actually him. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. I said the gameplay was phenomenal. I think I only played the first two. I've got all of them, but I've only played the first two. Then I got the VR. I got it for the VR and tried that, and that's a lot more scary because it comes literally at you.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen both. Like I said, I've never played it, but I've seen both. It's not really my style of game, but as a movie aspect, it'll be interesting to see. It comes out October 27th, Canada, US. Probably going to be available on YouTube for purchase by the end of the year, maybe early next year, and then we'll see. Like I'm not saying I'll never try the game. I might try the game at some point, but it's not something that I would pay like full price for because it's not. It's not like right now I'm playing No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is a game that I can see myself playing 2, 3, 4, 5,000 hours in there because it's just non-stop. There's always shit to do. There's always stuff to explore. But Five Nights at Freddy's, once you've survived and you've done the levels, you technically beat the game. So it's always constantly a restart, which is good. It's nice to restart games sometimes, but I don't know, it's not for me my style of game. But it looks like an interesting movie. It'll be like you said. It'll be interesting to see if they followed the plot of the game, or they go completely off track. And sometimes they think that they're going to make so much money because Five Nights at Freddy's, everybody plays the game, and we're going to make a movie about it. We're going to make tons of money because everybody loves it. But then they go off track of the game and end up ruining the name or the franchise, right?
Well, the creator, I think his name was Scott. He did it for laugh, and he made the games for laughing that lot, and look how big it is now. It came to a point where he said, "I've got to stop because it's getting a bit too much now." Like most creators.
Well, it's the same thing as Raft. Raft, it was a bunch of 16-year-olds that created that for their school project, and look how massive it turned out to be, and how it blew up, and how much money they made out of it.
Yeah.
Don't really know how much money they made out of it, but do the math, right? I'm pretty sure I looked into that somewhere at some point, that it showed how many copies of a game that was sold. I don't remember which game I had looked, but it was in the millions and millions and millions of dollars. Probably on the website somewhere. I'll look into it after. I'll look into it right now since we're talking about it. How many copies of the game Raft were sold? Development and release 2 weeks after the launch of the game was the number 3 most played game on Steam and had sold over 400,000 copies. The game was updated frequently with Wikipedia. On June 2022.
7.5 million in revenue. How much money did Raft make?
That's how they're saying, eh?
7.5. Yeah.
This is setting, plot, reception. And to think of it from 16-year-olds that did it as a high school project. Like we've got to learn how to do a game, bud. We got to get Sticky on board because she went to school for this, and we need to make our own game. I've got ideas in my head for a game, developed by 3 Swedish students.
You see, you don't even have to make a. You don't have to make a decent game, with all high tech graphics. Like Undertale, that was made out of a 16-bit game, and that made millions. The storyline to that was good.
Look at Minecraft. Minecraft is
that's still good, but more.
But look at the graphics.
I can't remember. Well, you can always get a texture pack to change that, but the fact is, the guy who made that, he ended up selling it because he just got sick and tired, try to update it every time, and
yeah, but he sold it for millions.
And now luckily, oh yeah,
it's the way of life now. It's what everybody goes for now is the gaming world. Everybody's a gamer. Everybody buys game. Like, do the math. Like, even me, if I do the math and I round it off to $25 a game, I have 197 games. So if I do 197 at $25 a game, I've got $4,900 just in games alone that I paid, and I'm just a Joe Schmo there. I'm not, a big YouTuber that plays all these games that pays, $100 for a game. But then I also have 261 DLCs. Count them at, let's say, at minimum $3 a DLC. Some were a lot more than that. 261 times 3. There's another $783. So I've got about $6,000 just in my inventory alone. So just do the math, right? It's crazy how much people spend money on games nowadays. But they're awesome.
I'm sure I did something. I even pinned it, I think. You could find out how much your account was worth as well. I can't remember where I left it.
How much a Steam account?
You could find out how much your Steam account was worth in money. I'll try to think how it was done. I'll look into it a bit later. Because, yeah.
Oh, there's a video about it here, but I'm not going to play a video. Steam calculator and Steam ID finder. This page will calculate the approximate value of your Steam account. Looking up your games and Steam profile. Your profile URL or Steam ID. That'd be my profile URL. Paste that there. Calculating. See, I did the math. 197 games. Some of them I paid $30, $40, $50, $60 for. I did the math and I leveled everything off at $25. 261 DLCs. Some of them I paid $10, $15 for. I narrowed it down to $3 a DLC. I've got about $6,000 worth of games and DLCs in my Steam account, and this website values my account at $884 Canadian. I have 92 out of 207 games played, 108 out of 500 to the next level. I've got 12,000 XP, which seems about right. I'm level 45. Average price.
Yeah, I need to get my level.
Average price calculation only indicates product that have a price. $17.74. Today's price of users' products if they were bought today. So if my products were bought today, it would be worth $3,460. Average price per hour, I've got 8,000.
How long have you been Steam?
I only joined Steam back in when I was with my ex, I never played games. I had a computer, a single monitor computer, and I didn't do YouTube, I didn't record, I didn't play games. So when her and I split in 2016, I bought my first game, which was Gold Rush. And so I've been on Steam since 2016.
So do you want to hear mine?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm level 30. I've been with Steam for 14 and a half years. My account value is at 1,094. I played 46% of my games. I have 526, so I've only played 242 out of them. Average price is £13.49. Total hours on record is 4,390, which is average 18.1 hours. And today's price is 5,209.
Yeah, you got more games though, right? How many games total?
526.
526 games. You have more than double what I have. It says I've been active for 11.7 years. I joined in 2012, sorry. I bought my first game in 2016. I joined in 2012. How many hours do you have on record?
Let me look at here.
All the way at the top.
Hours on record, 4,390.
Oh, I got you beat there, buddy. 8,000 hours. I doubled you.
Yeah, but that doesn't include AFK most of the time. You know, like Mr. Mine.
Mr. Mine, I only... yeah, okay, a lot of it is AFK, but I'm still sitting by the computer. Only lately I've been letting it run while I go to work, but it keeps crashing on me anyway, so it doesn't really count. But yeah, there's...
7 games I paid £45 or more. 19 games I paid between £33 to £45. 188 games I paid for between £10 to £33. 106 from £5 to £9. 55 games from £1.50 to £5. 11 from a penny to £1.69. And 142 I haven't paid no price for them.
Yeah, I've got 13 that says no price. I think those are probably because I used to buy
Mr. Mind and that lot.
Could be those ones, but I used to buy some off Humble Bundle as well. I don't think that accounts for the price.
Yeah.
Because if you account Mr. Mine, I've got 13 games that got no price on them, and I only have one that I really didn't play. Like, okay, but sometimes, like, you know, like Epic Game gives free games, well, Steam does as well. So, yeah.
Steam's literally gone downhill.
Yeah, that's what everybody's been saying, but it's the main platform, and everybody can say it's going downhill, but it's not, because everything's on there, and even throughout the years, we still have, you know, Epic Games and fucking this one here, Ubisoft and Origin. They're not competing with Steam.
Yeah, so I've got Steam, Epic Games, Ubisoft, Epic Games. Which one's that one? Battlesphere. Battle.net, sorry.
Hours on record. So while we're talking about like AFK games, hours on records, 1,000 in free games, 1,485.5 hours in free games. Mr. Mine hours, 1,485.5. So in my paid games that are not AFK games, I have 6,551.2 hours. So, still beat you.
Yeah.
All right, so our next topic of conversation, now that we've settled our score for Steam, I don't know how to increase my my Steam worth, but doesn't really matter. I don't ever plan on selling my account unless I were to pack everything up. You know, if Elon Musk sends me my email saying, yeah, man, we're going to Mars and you're going to be one of the first colonists, well, you guys can have my Steam account because I'm not going to need it where I'm going. But besides that, it doesn't really matter to me what my Steam worth is. So, would you climb Mount Everest? Hold on. Obviously, you want to visit Mount Everest. Okay, yeah. So let's ask the question: would you climb Mount Everest, and would your goal be to make it to the peak? Or
yes.
Would you just...
Well, it depends if your tour guide that's taking you up sees you fit enough, because you go for 3 or 6 months training before you do it.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, there's 4 camps. I'll get you to the 3rd camp, which is below the dead zone. Basically, the dead zone. If you go past that, there's no coming back down. If you die above that point. So basically, that tour guide will watch you, see how you're doing in that lot, because is it Nepal?
Nepal
People that take you up there.
The Sherps.
They literally watch you and actually see how good you are. They actually tell you if you're good enough to get to the next camp. So as I say, there's 4 different camps. The 3rd one is literally below the dead zone. The fourth one is literally above the dead zone, but it's below the peak before you get to the highest point.
So your goal would be to the peak?
I would try my best to get to the peak, but I don't think I could make it.
So what is your, I don't want to say end goal. What's your what's your point in wanting to mount Everest? Just to say you've done it in your life?
Yeah. But then again, there's people who do it multiple times, isn't there?
They have. Which is bringing me to a point that I don't. Well, I don't want to say I don't understand because there's a lot of fucking people in the world that have stupid money that for no reason. But by 2016, and I'm sure the price has just climbed now through COVID and everything else, but a guiding service to Mount Everest is between 35,000 and 200,000 American. That's American, Brownie. Between $35,000 and $200,000 to Mount Everest. But then you also need your climbing gear. So your climbing gears, they evaluated around $8,000 for your climbing gear that you need. And then most climbers also want to use, like you said, bottled oxygen, because I would love to Mount Everest, but I don't think I could make it up without the oxygen because, like you said, you have to be in extremely good shape. Bottled oxygen is an extra $3,000 American on top of that. And then the permit to go up Everest, because Nepal's got to make some money somehow, is between 10 and 30,000 American per person. So even if you put the 8,000 and the 3,000 and the $30,000 in your price, which is impossible because the minimum is 35,000 for a guiding service, and then your permit, let's say, costs you 10,000, so you're at 35,000. Then you need your climbing gear, so you're at 43,000, and then you need your oxygen. You're at 46. At the bare minimum, you're at $46,000 American to climb.
And you've got to carry all that. You got to carry all that all the way up there.
Not including your 6 to 8 month training that you mentioned. So who's going to be training you? All your fees accrued to that. Are you going to be working during that time or not? So you've got costs in that. Not including your trip to Nepal. Like, you've got to get your ass there somehow. So you got to pay your plane tickets and all that. So yeah, you're looking at, like, for me, like, it'd be like 150,000 Canadian just to be able to mount a mountain. So yeah, do you want to climb Mount Everest? Yeah, sure. You know, if I win the lottery tomorrow morning and I win, $60 million and pay $100,000 for a trip to Mount Everest, yeah, you've got millions in the bank. But that's how I don't understand how all these people are doing it like every couple of years. Like, what do you do?
Yeah. Where are you getting the money from? Share your secrets.
Exactly.
I want a better PC.
I need a lot more than a better PC. I've got a really good PC. I'm okay with my PC.
So I'm looking at here now. The summit itself is nearly 29,000 foot in the air. The camp number 4 is just below 26.5 foot. That's the last camp when you hit the dead zone. And the one below that, say again.
Camp 4 is at 27,600 feet.
Yeah, I've got it here saying 26,299 feet.
Where are you getting your information from?
Google.
Did you go on Wikipedia?
Yeah, I never believe that stuff. Someone could.
Well,
I just change it. Said Mr. Brown climbed up there 17 times.
Camp 1, climbers make their way up the western camp at the base of the Lot face, where Camp 2 and Advanced Base Camp is established at 21,300 feet. From Advanced Base Camp, climbers ascend the face on fixed ropes up to Camp 3, located on a small ledge at 24,500 feet. From Camp 3 to Camp 4, climbers are faced with 2 additional challenges, the Geneva Spur and the Yellow Band. Geneva Spur is an anvil-shaped rib of black rock named by the 1952 Swiss expedition, which I believe was not the first attempt. I think it was the first attempt in 1952, yeah. So this expedition fixed rope assists climbers in scrambling over this snow-covered rock. The Yellow Band is a section of interlaid marble, all sorts of shit, whatever. And then from Camp 4, climbers begin their summit push around midnight. Within 10 to 12 hours, climbers first reach the balcony, which is at 27,600 feet. Continuing up the ridge, climbers are then faced with a series of imposing rock steps. So the balcony is at 27,600 feet in the air. The cruising height of a plane is between 33 and 42,000 feet. So it's just about at the altitude. Well, so you were talking about the peak of the summit, and that's a thing that's been talked about a lot over the years, because back in the 50s, when they started thinking like, well, let's just climb this huge mountain and just be part of the world. Well, they accounted that the height of the mountain in the 80s and in the 1800s, I should say, was 29,002 feet above sea level in 1856, and went down to 20,029. No, in 1955. So from 1856 to 1955, about 100 years later, the mountain somehow lost 9,000 feet. Back in those days, the technology was absolute garbage. But now with all the GPS technology, they're accounting that the Mount Everest actually grew, because the total height was supposed to be 29,029 feet, but new reports put it at 29,031.69 feet is the height.
Yeah. You see, I actually saw pictures and that, like, in the news, that someone's been up there, and when you get to the top, it's not like you bring your stuff back down. Everyone just leaves all the junk up there, the tents, the equipment, the oxygen bottles. It's like you climb up there, you see all this rubbish. Like, come on, clean up after yourselves.
You would think, right?
Don't just
after spending $100,000 to climb up there and spending all that money on your gear, and like it's an achievement that you've made in your life, and that everybody will look up to you for, and you're just gonna leave all your garbage behind.
I don't know if this part was true, but as I was watching TV on this one, it's like, when people do the business, they take a crap, they take a piss up and that lot. All the feces literally going down the mountain, and it was going into a village water stream, which I couldn't drink because everyone was doing the business on the mountain. And where does all the water come from? On the mountains, which were mountains going to water that they used to drink. And it's like, okay, that must be bloody awful.
That would make sense. Like, I never even thought about that. Like, where do you go? Where do you go to the bathroom? That never dawned on me. But you would think that. Okay, maybe. Well, even at camp 1, 2, or 3, like it's all frozen. Like,
I'd be terrified between camp 3 and 4. It's like, I'm worried to get it out. It just might freeze over and drop off.
Well,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think what I'd be more scared of between Camp 3 and 4 are the over 200 bodies that are still up on the mountain, because the bodies will never, they're frozen. They're frozen in time, so they're never going to decompose. They're never going to go away. It's just, I've obviously never seen it. I've heard reports about that there's no rescue efforts going up there. It's if you die between a certain camp area, whatever, if a helicopter can't reach you, that's it. Because like you said, like when they get to the top, they drop all their gear and then they don't even bring it back. Dude, I've seen movies, and sometimes that movies are over exaggerated a bit. But seeing the Mount Everest movies and seeing how tired these people are when they get to the top, and they can't even bring an oxygen tank back, or they can't even bring their tents back or whatever. You think you're going to bring, a 200-pound guy back with you? That's just not going to happen. And you just can't push him off the mountain either and hope he survives, because that's never going to happen either.
Cause of deaths, like falling from the rocks or ice, avalanches, fall, mountain sickness, frostbites, exposure, illness, exhaustion, hypothermia, as well as a hallucination, especially when you're getting that cold.
Yeah,
I've heard you're pushing your body out, You're pushing your body so much in that temperature, it's unbelievable. I've gone swimming in an ice river, and that shocks you.
Yeah, I've done that too. That's fun though. What's the temp at peak of Everest? It's negative 21 degrees Celsius though. Like right now, at Mount Everest. Okay, no, hold on. That's at the bottom. So the weather and climate of Mount Everest and one of the most extreme temperatures of the summits are never above freezing, and during January temperatures can drop as low as negative 60 degrees Celsius. Now, I'm not saying that I live in Siberia, but the coldest temperature that I've ever gone outside and worked in was negative 56 degrees Celsius. Okay. Understanding, gotta watch for the cat. Understanding that I'm not working at 29,000 feet in the air where I don't have oxygen, so it's a lot harder. But it's not like it's negative 80 degrees Celsius where you're freezing to death. I think these hallucinations and hyperthermia ends up being, as you get higher, a lot of people either choose not to go with oxygen, or I'm gonna get this off my bucket list, but I can't afford the oxygen, so they say, I'll be fine, I've got great lungs. And then the lack of oxygen causes you to start hallucinating, and by doing that, you either lose track of your group, your guide, lose track of the trail, and then you end up in a snowbank somewhere, and that's where frostbite kicks in, hyperthermia kicks in. Like, it's, I don't know.
You get to the top, it's like you get to the top, it's like, what are you doing? I'm building a snowman. It's not I gotta come back up here.
It would be quite the sight. Like, obviously we've seen pictures, we've seen videos. It would be quite the sight to see the top of the world, because Mount Everest is described to be the top of the world. Without being in an airplane, that is the highest point on the planet. So it would be interesting to see. But physically, the cold, I could bear the cold, no problem. There's no issue there. The oxygen part, like, obviously I would go with oxygen, but I don't want to spend 150 grand just to go up a mountain. It just,
Hey.
I'll use Google Earth at that point.
VR's coming out, so it's coming realistic. So they send one guy up there, the Google cam up there, so you can climb up there and watch it. Go, climb Mount Everest and the VR.
Yeah, I heard Apple Maps is going to be going up there soon. So the first recorded, the first successful ascent of Mount Everest was back in 1953. A New Zealander, Edmund Hillary, and Tenzing Norgay, Nepal Sherpa climber, they reached the summit at 11:30 local time, May 29th, 1953, via the South Col route. At the time, both acknowledged it was a team effort by the whole expedition, but Tenzing revealed a few years later that Hillary had put his foot on the summit first. They paused at the summit, they took photographs, and buried a few sweets and small cross in the snow before descending. That's in 1953. I'd love to see those original pictures, and I'm actually going to look into that.
Well, I've just gone to Google Maps. To check. Apparently, there is points you can check up on there. Someone's been up there with the Google cam. I've just picked the guy up and dropped him there, and apparently it's just put me in a village. So I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I don't think...
there we go. There we go. Yeah, can I... Nice. I'll share that.
Look, we did it at the same time.
I've shared them on screen, haven't I? Like a muppet.
Can you share it again?
I don't have a clue what I'm doing now. Is it about sharing the screen still?
I'm sharing my screen.
Oh, you're sharing your screen. That's probably why I'm looking at the wrong one. Right, go on, share your screen. Because
Can you try to share yours? Because it didn't work last time, but it just worked now. We were both sharing.
It said can't share screen. Someone's already sharing.
Okay. But did you cancel your share screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I saw yours first.
Yeah, if we do it at the same time, we click go live at the same time, we'll be able... We just found a loophole with Discord. We can both share our screen as long as we both click the button at the same time. So yeah, I just wanted to show you can share yours after. So this would be in 1953. These are the two first successful attempts of Mount Everest. Now, obviously, not going to be a picture of them up there because There were only 2 that made it all the way up there, and there's obviously somebody holding the camera. So that'd be the Sherpa, and that would be the first guy to ever mount. And you think about it with the gear that they had back then, like they had nothing, and they managed to do it. Okay, you share yours.
Tell you what, climb. Go on, climb up Mount Everest, yeah, in the shorts and t-shirts there. I've done it better.
No, I mean obviously I wouldn't be able to do that.
So someone's actually done the Google camera.
A little blurry.
Because I haven't paid Discord Nitro, that's why.
No, I mean like if you no, the image just go the other way. Go the other way. The other way. Yeah.
That way.
Right here on the ground. Oh, okay, that's a person leaning.
Yeah, he's got the camera on his back.
Gotcha.
So this is what I mean. This is what I mean. You know, there's flags and all that at the top, and it's like people are left.
Well, I get the flags because they probably like there's probably a significance to that. There's probably their name on it, or the name, the date, the year, whatever, where they're from, their nationality. But like, don't leave garbage up there. But I understand leaving a flag saying like, listen, I accomplished this. You should be able to leave a little bit something behind.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful. And knowing
there you go. Like, you've climbed Mount Everest now. You've seen the top of it.
Yeah.
Just Photoshop yourself in it.
There you go. Yeah. And then go on Wikipedia and edit all the records. And yeah, I was the first one. It was me.
Yeah. In your shorts and a vest, in your tank top or something.
I'll get Sean to do that. He's my graphic designer. You see that tiny? You see that tiny little one there to the right? Move your mouse to the right. Yeah. See. Go a little bit to the left. No, actually go to the right. Right. Okay, just move your cursor. See that tiny little one in the middle here? No. Left. Stop moving.
Left.
Move your next, right next to it. Down.
That one.
That little one. The little one. That's the one I'll climb right there. Nope. To the right. right. Up. You went way too far, bud.
Is that me, the mountains? It's like finding Where's Wally.
Left. Not the one next to it. Not that tiny little guy right there. There you go. That's the one I'm gonna go up. Yeah.
There we go.
Should take me a week to go up that one.
But yeah, I got to admit, the view on it is perfect.
Yeah, I know, it's a very nice view. Yeah, it's a beautiful day, very nice view.
I wonder if anyone's actually camped up there overnight.
I don't think you're allowed to camp up there. There's definitely a set of rules and regulations that you have to abide by. You can't just I don't think you can't just go up there. Actually, there's people that were in 2017, a person that tried to climb Everest without a permit, without the $11,000 permit, was caught after he made it past the Khumbu Icefall. He faced, among others, penalties, a $22,000 fine and possible 4 years in jail. In the end, he was allowed to return home, but banned from mountaineering in Nepal for 10 years. So there is obviously a set of rules and regulations that you have to follow by the Nepal government. Or, hold on, there's also, like obviously I'm not in. There's a ridge on the Tibet side. The name was first recorded with a Chinese transcript. So there's one in Nepal and there's one in Tibet. Obviously, everybody goes to Nepal. I don't know if it's just because it's easier. And the first recorded effort to reach the summit was made by a British mountaineer. As Nepal did not allow foreigners to enter the country at the time, the British made several attempts on the North Ridge route from the Tibet side. As of 2022, 310 people have died trying to climb the mountain. 200 bodies still remain. In 2008, there was 160 permits issued to climb Nepal and do it at $11,000. 160 times 11. In 2008, the Nepalian government made 1.7 million. That's just in permits to be able to have a piece of paper to say, Mr. Brownie, you are allowed to climb our mountain. In 2021, they sold 408 permits. So they went from 1.7 million to 4.4 million in 2021. So in the span of 15 years, they tripled their income. But it goes to show how many people are going up there as well. So if you do it, do the math. One person, $11,000 for a permit. And then your I had all the fees right here. So
You said nearly 48,000.
The climbing gear is 8,000, so plus 8,000. Your oxygen is 3,000, and then by 2016, most guide services cost between 35,000 and 200,000. There's also the ascent typically starts at one of two bases camps near the mountain, both of which are approximately 100 kilometers from Kathmandu and 300 kilometers from Lhasa. The airport's transferring one's equipment from the airport to the base camp adds as much as $2,000. So you need to add $2,000 just to bring your equipment from the airport to the camp. Many climbers hire full-service guide companies, which provide a wide spectrum of services, including the acquisition of permits, transportation to and from base camp, food, tents, fixed rope, medical assisting while on mountain, as experienced mountaineer guide, and even personal porters to carry one's backpack and cook one's meal. The cost of such guide service may range between $40,000 and $80,000 per person. So let's narrow that one down at $50,000. You're at $74,000 US, and that's the bare minimum to climb the mountain. 74 fucking XC US dollars. It's already set to British pounds, so we'll go for you. You would have to pay $60,457. That's in British pounds to be able to climb the mountain. In Canadian dollars,
as I say, I can afford a PC with that money.
In Canadian dollars, I would have to pay $101,143 to climb the mountain. So it's $100,000. And like we said, that does not include your time off work for training. That does not include your training, your trainer, your food. That doesn't include anything. So $100,000 Canadian. 60,000 British. Not in my days. But some people do it. You know, the best way I might do it is how this one here describes it on the Seven Wonders website. Is there's a plane company. A majority of tourists travel to see Mount Everest is taught as a scenic flight that goes around the mountain. Small planes will take a group of tourists up and circle Mount Everest, providing visitors with a view of the world's highest point. So if you don't want to pay $100,000 to climb the mountain and risk debt and staying up there forever, you can always just take one of these tourist planes and go on there. I've seen helicopter tours as well. They'll take you to like an area where like base camp 1 and 2 is, but obviously not where everybody else is. But yeah. Best time to mount the mountain is between October and November, which is a dry season. Which is odd because October and November is the wettest season mostly everywhere else. Second opportunity occurs between the months of February and April, which concludes the dry season. Located in Himalayan mountains, starting at over 13,000 feet. One of the other key concerns is the level of oxygen. The blood oxygen saturation is 98% or higher near sea level. Saturation drops around 85 to 87 near base camp. Even goes lower as you ascend further up the mountain. It's talking about oxygen, but the question was, what's the weather like? So yeah.
No, it just reminded me about the plane. That kind of reminded me about the plane that landed in the UK on a mountain. Me and my dad went camping up there once, and I don't know, class it as a mountain. You look around it, there's not much place to land, but it landed there. It was 1926. John Lehman and Bert Hinckley. Yeah.
Well, if it's a small enough plane, you don't need that long of a runway. Like I've been in very small planes where you don't need long.
There is nothing on top of that mountain whatsoever.
Well, that's what you call a crash land.
They did a bloody good job landing on it. Let's have a look. Google Maps. Oh, go away, will you, please? Leave me alone.
Well,
I
like
definitely
you,
need to get
man.
better.
I don't want to leave you alone. You're my friend. You're my friend.
Okay. That side of the hill. Yeah. Right, here we go. So,
Well, that's long
that is
enough
where
for-
the airplane landed.
That's very long for a plane to land. Kidding?
Yeah, but when you're up there, it's a different picture.
Nah, just by looking at just right in front of you right here, just looking at that topography. Oh yeah, bud. You can land a plane easily on that. Little Cessna, no problem. Like, I'm not talking about like a Freightliner or an airliner, I mean, but a Cessna plane? Oh yeah, you'll land that there. No problem.
Right, moving on. What topic we're going on for next? Oh, camping.
Tent camping,
We
which
have
is
been...
Brownie's favorite activity to do. Besides
Yes.
drinking beer, of course. So the reason why, because I didn't want Everest to be part of any other topic, because I thought that if we talk about Mount Everest, there's so much shit to talk about that it's going to take forever. But you bringing up tent camping made it so perfect, because the most interesting fact about Mount Everest is that there is no building there. Everybody that goes up Mount Everest, and you mentioned it earlier, sleeps in tents. It's all tents everywhere. So go ahead, Brownie. You're a maniac at tent camping. You love it.
Yeah, I love it by the age since maybe 4 when my parents took me out camping. By the age of 5, they got me own tent. It was a German tent, an old-fashioned one with metal poles. Back then, it was my own tent. Put it up myself, and that lot camped my own tent. And ever since then, I've loved it. Ever since I was a kid, it's been the best thing. I try and get my kids into it, but what kids are like these days. They want all comfort and everything. Me, I can pack my camping gear up, get my car, drive up to the lakes, leave my car somewhere, walk up to the mountain, camp up there for the night.
So
I've got pretty much everything.
So how do you sleep? Do you sleep just on bare floor? Do you bring yourself an air mattress, a foam mattress, or you just...
I bring a thermal vest, which is like an air bed, but it's about that thick.
Right.
Yeah, if you're going camping, as my dad said, you've got to take the bed, your good stuff, make it as light as possible. You're not carrying as much stuff. In my case, I've got to take heavy stuff because I walk fast. I sprint walk. I've got to put my weight down onto me so I can slow down and take my time. My mum, my wife, Kel, she thinks I'm doing a marathon run when I'm walking. I don't slow down. But yeah, so I've got my thermal vest, which, it's a nice comfy mattress. Keeps the cold off your body. I've got a sleeping bag, which is a thermal one. It can drop down to -15 and won't feel the temperature. Then have a fleece which goes in there, which I could drop down to another -10. So basically, I'm not feeling the cold at all. Then the tent-wise, it depends who you go for. Coleman is a good brand, which I've gone for. I think the tent I paid for was like nearly £450. Yeah. It's easy to put up. It's nice and small. Get into it. You've got spaces at each side, so I can do my cooking and that lot and keep my stuff dry as well. But you're always constantly upgrading your stuff, like your walking boots, what type of clothes you're wearing. It's got to keep you warm, as well as your waterproofs. But these days, it's like my dad did try to teach me how to read the map. These days, now you don't need it because you've got all electronics.
Yeah, exactly. So what keeps drawing you personally you, to go in a tent rather than be like in an enclosed trailer
In a caravan.
In a caravan for you guys? Yeah, camper normally. But so what's your more why are you more interested in a camp or a tent, I should say, than being within four walls of protection?
Probably the experience. You try to teach people these days that you've got to try it, you've got to experience it yourself. You know, you're up at first day of dawn. That could be like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, depending what time the sun rises. And you're cooking your breakfast, you're watching the sunrise. You get up and that lot, clean your mess up, as it's called, as being unseen. So basically, you go in there, you make sure you don't leave anything behind.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I think, total respect. And I've been brought up by tent camping, and I love it every time. It's the experience, the enjoyment, and relaxation. Because at night time, when you're just sat there, no torches, no fires. Well, you do have torch at night time when you're looking for stuff, but not at night time. You just sit back, looking at the stars. You're miles away from anyone at all. Just enjoying the peace and comfort. That's what I love about camping.
Yeah. So when I was a kid, like before we started all this, I was explaining how winters are where I am at, and when I was a kid, winter would be like from beginning of September we would have snow, and then we would have snow all the way throughout like May, so it was like 6 months full of just pure snow. But when I was out of school in the summer, in June, July, August, those 3 months, we would have, where we lived, we had a little grass area fenced in, and 3 months tent was on that grass area, and every single night I would sleep in that tent. I even ran because obviously back then I'm not that old, but we didn't have smartphones. We had dial-up internet. We were on ICQ and MSN chat and that kind of stuff. So people socialized. People were out and they were about, and we called each other on the phone. And I ran a phone line. I didn't have a computer or anything. Well, I had a shitty computer and consoles and TV, but I didn't want that. But I ran a phone line from inside the house to the tent so that I could just I'd have my own area in my tent. I'd have the phone. I'd be talking to all these chicks on the phone, sitting in my tents for 3 months. 3 months straight. You could not get me out of that tent. But
that's what I mean. Like sorry, go on.
But lately, and I'm just saying, like within the last few years, okay, you use an air mattress, which is fine because I would use an air mattress as well because we do backbreaking work. Like we're not office people. We do backbreaking work.
My thermarest is about that thick. It's a single one. Air mattresses, you're looking about that big, which is more weight.
Yeah, but
I can jump in there. If someone told me we're going camping, I'd be that love. Get my camping gear. See you, love. Bye, kids. I'm gone.
But even that 2-inch of mattress is a lot better than sleeping on a hard ground. Because that hard ground, you're guaranteed you're waking up in the morning and you are taking some pain pills because your back's going to be shot.
Yeah, you see, my dad was in the army and I learnt quite a bit off him. I won't say a lot. It's like he forgot his air mattress or thermarest. He started cutting out grass around him. He put under he laid that down. He put his tent on it to give him more comfort at night time.
Yeah.
So I learned quite a bit off him as I'm going around.
You know, which is good because that's a very good thing. Like you see homeless people stuffing newspaper in their shirts. It's all tricks that we don't know. When I was probably 16 years old, I was in the Army Cadets here in Canada, and we went in the middle of winter, snow everywhere, probably minus 20, minus 30. We all went, a group of guys, into the bush. We were gone. I was young. I don't know. I didn't know where we were. And these army tents are built like a brick house. Like it's you cannot tear those tents down. But there's no bottom. There's no floor to these. So sleeping in the middle of the night, in the middle of winter, in a sleeping bag, in a tent that's got nothing, you're sleeping on snow. I just recalled, the only thing I recall the most about that was, so I had a military sleeping bag, and they told me that in order to stay warm don't sleep with your clothes on. You want to sleep in just your
Yeah.
boxers, and that will like your body heat will stay in, and then like your clothes won't get wet or whatever. I don't remember what the explanation was, but they said it's so potent and it's so well insulated that you want to sleep in your underwear. Until
Yeah.
it was my time to wake up and go check on the fire. It was freaking cold, man. Oh, you're getting out of this little cocoon in your underwear, and it's like minus 30 outside, and you're waking up, and you don't have a floor. Like, I understand if you're going camping in a tent, and I see that all the time. I do ice fishing, so we go on ice fishing, we go on ice huts, but you have a floor, you have something. But when you're waking up in the middle of the night in a tent in your underwear, and you're walking in snow, let's just say it was a different little situation than just like you said, right? Just
my dad said work out because if you start wearing the clothes and that, like you start building up heat inside your body, which will turn into sweat.
Yeah.
And when it starts getting cold at night, your body starts freezing. So that's why you sleep in your boxes or something like that. And I'm just watching the cat in the background there.
Hey, what are you doing?
So
She
you
tried to
learn a
climb
lot of
the
experience.
I normally don't keep the curtains closed like that, and it's all new to her. So she's like, "Oh, what is this?" Oh. So, but what I was about to say was, let me see if I can find the article before I say it.
You see, when I went camping, was it Old Man Coniston up in the Lake District? You know, we had a bit of rain and that lot. It was bad. We walked up to the top, we came back down, stopped in the campsite, so we knew something wasn't going to be happy with the weather-wise. Next morning, we had 4 foot of snow. And we're thinking, have we just woken up in Nadia? Where the hell is this coming? This poor lad, he camped out in the campsite. His tent collapsed, so he had to sleep in the toilets in the campsite to keep warm. We invited him over, cooked him the food and that, and he says, I'm hoping I can get home. And I said, what car have you got? Oh, I've got a Volkswagen Polo. I says, good luck, mate, you ain't going nowhere. I said, my dad's car, he had a Toyota for before, and he struggled getting out.
Yeah. So my problem with tent camping now, I love what, like, your aspect of doing it, and I'm the same way. Like, somebody knocks on my door right now and says, "Combo man, we're going camping. Pack up your shit. I'll be ready in 5 minutes," and I'm gone. Like, it don't matter to me. I'll go sleep like what you did. I'll go sleep in the back of the truck. It don't matter to me. I don't need a caravan or a camper to be able to sleep. But 2021, a bicyclist in the middle of the night. A grizzly bear dragged a bicyclist out of her tent in the middle of the night and killed her in a small Montana town early Tuesday, whatever authorities say. The attack happened around 3:30 in the morning on July 6 in a tiny community of Ovando in the United States, according to a statement by Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks. The victim has been identified. She was 65 years old. The bear, which is thought to be a 400-pound male grizzly, was not found. So she was on a long-distance bicycling trip with some friends when they stopped to camp for the night in Ovando, a town of fewer than 100 people at the southern edge of a vast stretch of wilderness. Loken slept in one tent and a couple slept in another one nearby. The bear wandered through the campsite and woke the trio around 3 o'clock in the morning. The close call prompted the campers to remove all food from their tents before going back to sleep, which is something I wouldn't have done. Surveillance footage captured video of the bear outside a nearby business at 3:15 a.m. shortly before it returned to the campsite for a second time. The couple in the second tent woke up to the sound of an attack and rushed out to see the animal was mauling Loken, the girl. The bear had pulled the victim from the tent during the fatal attack. The couple used bear spray to drive the grizzly bear away, called 911. So that's my issue with tent camping now. Like, I don't know about your areas, and obviously there's going to be areas where you're going to be a lot less wildlife, but in the areas where, like, I could be looking outside the camera right now and there could be a bear that walks right by. I live in an area where moose are very active, and if they feel like you're encroaching into territory or whatever, they're not scared to attack.
Yeah.
And bears are the same way. Bears, just the other day, in Canada, in British Columbia, a husband, a wife, and their dog were walking in a trail in British Columbia, and a grizzly bear killed all 3 of them. They killed the grizzly bear, like the authorities found them and they euthanized them, but it's just the wildlife. I don't know if it's the lack of food in the bush now, in the forest now, that the wildlife is now being more brave and they're attacking humans, or they're taking their chances and going into cities, or it's just that it's their survival instinct that's just kicking in. But my only issue with sleeping in a tent is exactly this. It's something like this happening in the middle of the night, having a freaking bear, because a bear can claw through a tent like nothing. But at least if you're in a caravan, in a camper, or in an enclosed trailer, and there's a bear outside, well, he's going to think twice about, one, trying to get in, and two, if he does, you're obviously you're going to hear everything about it, rather than just, by the time that the bear made it in that woman's tent and either did the first claw or the first bite, that woman was asleep. She did not know what was going on. So that's my only fear.
See, when I did wild camping a couple years ago, what lad said to me, "Are you scared of bears coming at you?" And I'm thinking to myself, bears have been extinct for 1,000 years. Wild bears, I mean, in the UK, 1,000 years. It's like, no. If a bear eats me, okay, I'll be happy to see that, but no. Only thing I've seen come up to me is like wild deer sniffing at my tent, or a cow, or a sheep, and that's it.
Yeah, see,
anything dangerous we don't have.
Yeah, so living in your kind of topography, I would, not a problem. I would go in a tent, have a bunch of people camping in the tent together, have a bunch of tents in a circle, have a fire in the middle, and we've all done that. And I still do camping trips like that, but we have wildlife that you guys don't have. We have mountain lions, we have coyotes, or they don't give a shit, coyotes. They're like hyenas. They're going to attack if they want to. We have wolves, we have brown bears, we have grizzly bears. We've been an hour and a half away, we've got a polar bear sanctuary. They started that polar bear sanctuary because they found a wandering polar bear an hour and a half away. So we have all of this shit. So am I going to go sleep in a tent where, there's, it's being as stupid as, are you going to go sleep in a tent in Australia where literally everything will kill you? Right? But then if you speak to an Australian guy or girl and like, oh yeah, let's go sleep in a tent, they're going to be like, yeah, we sleep at this area, this area, this area. It's just, it's the topography, right? But then I can tell them like, like a guy comes here and you haven't seen a bear in real life and maybe your whole fucking life, and then you come here for a visit. And like I said, one day I was sitting here and I was playing a game, and some people had left garbage bags next to, like, we have a big garbage bin outside, but rather than lifting up the lid and putting the garbage in, they put the bag on the ground. And I was sitting here and I was playing a game, and it was windy outside, so I seen the bag kind of flapping in the wind, whatever. So I never bothered to pay attention. And for at least half hour to 45 minutes, there was a bear chewing in that bag the whole time. In broad daylight, there was a bear just sitting there chewing in a bag of garbage. What's stopping that bear from going inside of a tent when somebody's sleeping in?
Yeah.
That's my only issue with tent camping. I love it because there's so many practicalities to it, and like you said, you're one with nature, but you can also, and you don't need a lot of room.
See, it's just come to my mind now. They literally try to ban wild camping for tents. There'll be people in quads and that lot looking for you. And if they find your tent, they'll wake you up at midnight. Don't care what time it is. Says, right, pack up, get off my land. The dark moor. Well, no, not really. But it's just people who said you park near this private land, you can't camp here. Dark moor. The person who owns that, he'd literally put a ban on the people camping on his land. I'm going to have to Google this, how big it is. Now,
we talked about this not long ago. If you guys had something like Crown Land.
Send fucking how long? How big is that mower? Well, basically, this guy owns that moor. It's a big part of the land. I can't remember how many acres it was or anything like that. It does not say. But the person who owned it literally took it to law, saying whoever gets camps on my land gets prosecuted. And for some reason, I've just put Dartmoor, and
which is
it's coming to a game.
Yeah, which is a privately owned land. Does the UK have Crown land? And Google says that the Crown Estate is a collection of lands and holdings in the United Kingdom belonging to the British monarch as a corporation sole, making it the sovereign public's estate, which is neither government property nor part of the monarch's private estate, which is the same thing. Like British and Canada, Canada technically is just a branch of the UK because who started Canada were British. The British, like me, I'm a Canadian, but my ancestors, even though they're Canadians, they were British. So our countries are very similar alike. We have Crown land. You guys have Crown estate. If you go camping on somebody's private property, if you come to Canada and you come camping on my property and I say, what the hell are you doing? Oh, I'm just going to put my tent here for a couple of days. No, get the hell off my land. You have no right to be on my land. But if you go on Crown estate land, or me, if I go on Crown land, like the one that I showed in the Discord server the other day, I found a new camping spot. That's on Crown land. That means that is the public's land. It is not owned privately to anybody. It is not a corporation that owns it. It is owned by the government of Canada, which as a citizen of the country of Canada, I am allowed to go camp there for as long as I want. And you are even allowed to park a caravan or camper there indefinitely. You could park it there for the rest of your life. The only thing you have to do is every 2 weeks, you got to move it like 4 or 5 feet over. So park it here. 2 weeks later, move it 5 feet over. 2 weeks later, put it back there. Every 2 weeks, all you got to do, and you get free land. You guys have the same thing. So you can go camp wherever you want.
If you can find the areas. That's what the reading the map is all about. Dartmoor is 368 square mile. That's how big it is. And the owner says, I don't want no one camping on there because people were trashing it. They wasn't looking after the area, which I can't blame him. If you go camping, clean your rubbish up, take it back with you. Don't leave the area in a crap hole. Show some respect.
But you have to see it the other way. It's if it was my land and you, Brownie, go ahead and camp on my land, and you're like, come on, man, combo, I'm not going to leave any garbage. I'm going to leave it as it was when I found it. I'm going to put the fire out and this and that, and I trust you, and then your friend that I don't know, Ian, let's take Ian, for example. Even though I know Ian, let's say I don't know Ian. You tell the spot to Ian, and Ian's the same way. I promise I'm going to clean up my mess. And then somebody gets hurt. It's the liability issue. It's not a question of, are you going to come on my land and are you going to clean up after yourself? Because if this guy has 3 miles of land, you really think he gives a shit about a bottle of beer or a fire that cut down a tree or whatever? He doesn't care about that. It's the liability. Because if you go on my land and you get hurt, in today's day and age, you absolutely know that everybody will sue anybody for any stupid reason. So, you go on my land, I let you camp. You forget 1 beer bottle behind, 1 can of Pepsi behind, 1 can of beer, whatever you leave behind. Ian goes on my land, barefoot running around crazy, steps on that can or bottle and cuts himself. He's not going after you. He's going after me. He can sue me because it's my land. That's liability. So that's why you're not allowed. And if he puts a disclaimer in there saying nobody's allowed to camp on my land and has a lawyer or a legal document that says nobody's allowed to camp, and then you go there and then you camp and you get hurt and you take him to court, no, there's no camping allowed on my land. So that's why, you have to find where what's it called again? The Crown Estate land for you is, which you can pack up your shit in your car at any point in time, go on the Crown land and camp without any problems or restrictions.
Starting next year, I'm going to start taking my kids camping. I'm not going to do all 3 at once. I'm going to do 1 at a time. I'm going to literally get the tent up, go up somewhere up the lakes, camp up on the hills and see out what they're like. Teach them everything I know best I can. And say, right, what can you improve by this? And I'm waiting for one of them to say, can I bring the PlayStation and TV? No. But, yeah. I say, I love camping. I love the experience. You know what I mean? I got to admit, the equipment tents and the equipment of tents is literally unbelievable how much it costs. Like, Go Outdoors is basically a tenting shop. You go in there, you see a tent, very expensive, but you pay the members fee, £5 for a year, you get a members discount in that lot. And it's
That's
like,
me.
I'm saying to her, instead of taking a big tub of cutlery in that lot, they're starting to make foldable stuff. So basically, you got a pan here which can fold out, and you got a cooking pan like the kettle and that lot. Start looking at that, and there's like £100 there, just for the kettle, the pan, and the pot. But it's something you want, but it's expensive.
It's very expensive. I'm trying to find. I don't know if you've ever seen this YouTuber. I don't know. If it's no, it's not him. But the tents that the guy makes, once I find him, you're gonna be like, dude.
It's like, look, I literally, because I drive a Citroen C4 Grand Picasso 7-seater, I got an airbed for the boot. I literally put the back seats down and that lot, and slept in the back of the car. I watched a couple of YouTube's videos of people how they insulated the windows and that lot, how they made it. I did that. It wasn't perfect, but the fact is, what I did was it did its job, and I loved it. I woke up about 4 in the morning, watched the sunrise, laid back down the car about 6 o'clock in the morning. Saw a bunch of women went into the sea, have a good swim in the sea, and that. Like, you go, come and join us. I'm like, nah, I'm enjoying the view. So I enjoyed it, and it's like I said to her, I'm going to do it again. But she has it up and downs about camping and that lot. Oh, we're going to have a toilet nearby, we're going to do this, I'm not doing it in the hole. I don't care, end of the day, I'm out there, I'm enjoying myself. Don't matter how it is. End of the day, I've got a roof over my head.
Yeah, sleeping in a car is different though. You can't leave the car running, obviously, for carbon dioxide.
No.
But use pretty good, right? Because you can lay all your seats down, and then you can actually have a full stretch. Like, I have a pickup truck, I wouldn't be able to do that. But for you, that actually did work. But so you got to crack the window open. You can't leave the car running. Insulated windows, well, you can have those made. It's very tricky sleeping in a car. I can't find this guy right now because I'm looking for him. But when I find this guy, the tents he makes, man, it's out of anything. Like, he's a guy like you and me, right? He's a guy that's just gonna go in the well, I don't know if it's actually in the bush or if it's right behind his house on a property, but he'll make a tent out of absolutely anything and spend a couple of days in it. Tinfoil tents.
Anyway, I've got the video. I've got the video here. I'll just give it a quick share for you. I say it's nothing perfect, but I've turned sound off with copyright music. But that was the airbed I bought off of Amazon.
Steering wheel's on the wrong side.
Shut up. And it did perfect. I slept on that, had my sleeping bag. I covered the windows and everything. And I loved it.
So
I won't complain.
While we're on the topic of tent camping, do you prefer tent camping or car camping? Like you just did?
Well, I'm slowly getting used to the car camping at the moment.
So which one do you prefer?
I still prefer to tent camping
Feel
because
safe.
I say I enjoy it. Here
Safer in a car,
we
though,
go.
right?
This is the one. Yeah, this is the one with the insulation windows that I did.
Yeah.
Not perfect, but the fact is, it did its job, and I loved it.
Yeah, and it gives you privacy as well.
Yeah. Only downside is don't eat anything hot and spicy while you're sleeping in that car, because you've got to open the door. It was bad.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to find this guy again. I used to watch his content all the time. But yeah, tents are awesome, and they provide all sorts of applications. Whether it's you and me going for a a trip. You're going to the UK, I'm in Canada, and we're just going for a weekend. And we're going to go camping, and we're going to be in a tent. And even if you're by yourself or with friends, whatever. But then there's also like Mount Everest, like we explained. Like there's no buildings up there, and they're never going to build anything up there. So without tents, all these climbers would be subjected to so much more elements that you don't want to be part of. And then there's also like there's a lot of relief as well. Like United States and now even Canada, we get like where I live now, I get tornado warnings. Where my brother lives in Ottawa, they've had tornadoes hit, and we've never had tornadoes. But in the U.S. and same with Newfoundland, they're being hit with tornadoes. In the U.S. every year they're hit with hurricanes and tornadoes and floods, and everybody that goes there to help them, either it's the American Red Cross, UNICEF, or ROW, they're all setting up tents. It's all tents. The military, when the military goes and they go to war right now. There's war between Ukraine and Russia. The soldiers, they're staying in tents everywhere they go. Where right now Israel is at war, so they might not end up in tents because they're not really in jungle-ish areas like other countries. But military, when the U.S. government started invading Iraq, for example, it was all tents. We're not going to spend $10 million on building a building. We're just going to pop up some tents. When you got big events, like us, we have a big event, Rock on the River, and we had Papa Roach here this year, and we had Dallas Smith was here this year. We had some really big people coming here, and what was it? Tents. You set up all these tents, and people are under tents, and it's going back to sleeping in a tent as a casual person that goes camping. But there's so many more applications to a tent that, like you said, people nowadays
I'll get this one in before we change the subject. The biggest walk I ever did with my dad and his friend was from my mum's house to Apple Tree Wig in Skipton. It was nearly 30 odd miles. We did about like 9.5 hours. So we started back in my hometown in Halifax, and we went over the moors and that lot. And I got a bit, enjoyed this experience till the part my dad says, well, we're going to go this direction and go around the fence and all, it's like this way. But you see the mountain over in that direction? Yeah, well, we're supposed to be over that way. So why are we going that way when we're supposed to be going that way? So there was good times in that lot. Like I said, something like that I would love to do again. Just get your take, go for a long walk, enjoy the atmosphere. Can't really take my kids on like a 30-mile walk.
Well, that's just it, man. You can't take your kids, and even if you could take your kids, they're not going to want to because people nowadays aren't raised. Not everyone. Most people nowadays are not raised how we were raised back in the 80s, where we weren't glued to our technologies. And don't get me wrong, I love having my computer set up, and I love playing video games, and having my phone is very practical. But I also like to do what you do, right? I also like to jump in the truck on Friday, pop a tent, go somewhere, go camping for the weekend, and not have technology. My ideal spot is an area that has no cell service. And whenever I pick a spot, like my buddies and I, when we go, like we rent a cottage to go camping somewhere, I always try to find an area that doesn't have any cell service. Because everybody nowadays are glued to their phone. It's just it. And kids nowadays won't want to do that walk. They won't want to go camping because even if you do take them camping, they're constantly going to be on their tablets or on their phone. And this guy.
You found him?
I believe so.
Well, why would I go that way?
Why not? Really kind of.
Yeah. Kent survival. Yeah, Kent survival. I'll share that with you on Discord. Like 2 weeks ago, solo overnight under a tarp in heavy rain. So all he did is 4 sticks. He puts a tarp. There's no walls or anything. He puts a little fire underneath it, and he's overnight. And then
I saw one woman like that. She had a piece of tarpaulin. Now, we went up camping up somewhere up the lakes, And basically, she found her own old stone building with no roof, and she put the tarpaulin on the top and actually camped inside it.
Yeah, see,
So I thought that is bloody good.
that I'd be okay with. That I would definitely do because you have the security of those walls. But like this guy here, let's just share it real quick. I don't know why when I click share screen it's so slow. Like this. Like, let's just skip ahead. He's like just plain Jane doing it. Like, this is the most primitive thing that you could do, but that's what we grew up into. That's us.
Yeah.
It's not, having $100,000 camper and just parking it there with your 50-inch TV.
Well, it just got quite dark, and the wind's starting to pick up. I can hear it in the trees.
See his meal there.
Wonder if this could get my
Like you said,
radios on.
it's got dark really quick.
Don't take
That's
too
another
much.
thing you got to watch out for when you go camping. How fast it goes dark.
You've got to plan that for sure, yeah. So he's got a bunch of little fire stoves like this that, like a lot of shit. Like, look at this. Like, would you spend the night in this? Sleeping?
Yeah. If I knew the weather was going to be right, I would literally camp under that.
Here's another question. Would you spend the night sleeping in that, knowing, in Canada, knowing there's a possibility that a brown, or black, a brown, or a polar bear, or moose, or wolf, or coyote, or bobcat, or lynx can come at any time and...
Now, you see, if now you said that, then yes, I would, but I also put a surrounding alarm. So basically, if the animal actually goes across it wakes me up in the middle of the night, then I can prepare myself to defend myself the best way I can.
Yeah, so that's a layer of security. But without a layer of security like this guy, I would never do that. It would be awesome to do. Don't get me wrong. I would love to do something like that. And just like
The pan
this
on,
guy,
some oil in
just
it.
going out there and just having a tarp. That's all you need. A tarp in your bed and
sun's out
sleeping
as it
into
goes.
that. It'd be awesome to do. But the possibility of being killed in your sleep by an animal just because you were stupid enough to fucking sleep there, not very...
You see, my backside is lethal at the moment. A bear or something like that walk up to a sniff me and felt, he's dead. I'm leaving this guy alone. I would not lie. My farts have been lethal. I went up to my mum's the other day helping up. And I farted and says, "You dirty bugger." I went, "I thought you missed me, Mum, so I thought I'd just let one go." But yeah, it's stuff like that I miss in, we don't do enough of it anymore because everyone's doing luxury. But it's like another thing. It's like buying equipment is a lot. If you want to do camping like that, you've got to spend a fortune. It's all right taking some stuff from home and that lot, but if you want to carry less things, a lot lighter things, you've got to spend it.
Well, everything costs money. That's guaranteed. But going to sleep in a tent that costs you $500 with your mattress that costs you at the most $200. Spend $1,000 on a tent and equipment that's going to last you years, like years. Your tent you're not going to replace. Your mattress, unless you get a hole in it, you're not going to replace. If you have a little stove that you bring because you'll be cooking food, you'll never replace that stove. Yeah, the propane tank once in a while, but that's super cheap. Or turn around, go with the $150,000 caravan or camper that we call it here, which they are $150,000 and up, and your idea of camping is spending a couple of hours outside with friends, having a fire maybe at night. Then you go in your camper and you get your 50-inch TV and you get your satellite, you got your internet, and you got, like you said, queen size bed with a pillow top. And dude, some of those campers are bigger than the place I live in right now. Like, it's...
Yeah.
I understand.
I stopped at a campsite not far from here when I took my kids out to try this new tent out. This guy pulls up in a caravan. It was a big, trailer, but size of a American bus, school bus. And I'm watching it, and next minute it starts folding out, the sides start coming out, the top's lifting up, and I'm thinking,
Pop-ups.
what? The guy said, "This is what my kids have bought us as a retirement plan. So we've sold the house. We live in this permanent now." I'm thinking, wow, okay. But that's got to be difficult to drive around on the UK roads, having something that big to try and get around the country roads. Because I mean, you drive down half at country roads, which I class as farmer roads. You're looking to just fit your car. So if you've got a tractor or an Arctic coming your way, you're pretty much buggered. So I can't imagine what he's like when he drives down one of those small tight roads to get through a space.
I'm trying to find a super expensive one that's here, but they're just motorhomes. I don't know what you guys call those.
A van with a home. Yeah, a van with the home in the back of it. Right. Okay.
Yeah, but what's the correct word for it?
Right. You got caravan, motorhome.
Yeah, it's a motorhome.
Google, stop changing my bloody autocorrecting me. Yeah. Right.
Like some of these campers that I seen, though, they were just ridiculously priced. And I'm not even talking about a whatever you just call a van with a home in the back. I'm talking about something that you pin in the back of your truck and you drive off. I was going to do camp life, or not camp life. I was going to do van life on my retirement, which I still might. I priced everything out. For me, Canadian prices, to have a van purchased flat out, no payments on it, and build something inside the van, I could get it done for $80,000. $80,000. I had a van. I had everything built out inside the van. I had no payments on it. All the solar panels, the water systems, the fridge, everything ready to jump in the driver's seat, go. $80,000 said and done. And then I looked at just a camper that goes in the back of a pickup truck, which is just like a truck cat for us. I looked at buying a truck, which when you buy one of those, you need something with a lot of weight. So I looked at a 1-ton dually pickup truck, and I looked at the camper van, and it was more than double the price. Just because the camper alone was worth the price of the van and everything included in the van. And the truck was obviously like $120,000 because trucks are expensive nowadays, but campers are ridiculously priced. That's why tent camping, a lot of people still do it, because it's not everybody that, one, can afford to buy a huge camper, or two, it's not everybody that has like these pickup trucks that can pull these campers.
You see, a lot of people, since during through COVID and the zombie apocalypse, everyone started buying vans and doing it was like campers and that lot. Just keep them going. Because everyone was doing it, everyone thought, oh right, there's a lot of people doing this, we'll up the prices to make more money. And it's like, I was going to do it for a laugh, but when I saw the price of it, it was a lot. I watched two people, Will's Whereabouts and Urban Van Life. Urban Van Life, their van, it's unbelievable what work they've done to it. And I can guess it must have cost around about maybe 80 odd grand, the work they've put into it. Probably less than that, because they've had friends and that lot to help them out. And all it is, I think it's a Sprinter, Volkswagen Sprinter, long base. It's got the toilet, the shower, the electronics, the solar panels, customised stuff and that lot. But that's, like I say, I'll just stick to my car, I'll just throw a couple of stuff in there and do it.
Well, you don't do van life to go camping. People that did van life were like the people that I watched doing van life and I got to know and communicated with was a couple from the US, and he made really good money, so he didn't need to work, and she was technically working from home, so it didn't matter where in the world they were, she could do her job, and the van was paid off and this and that. And the other couple from Canada that was doing van life, they owned a business here in Canada, that provided their costs and fees accrued to van life. Because yes, doing van life is very, very, very expensive, and people think, like you said, just gonna get a van, we're gonna be a nomad, not gonna cost anything. But when you think about everything that adds up, it costs a lot of money to be part of van life. Like there's a lot of costs accrued to that. But I don't think you were right when you said that, well, everybody's doing it during COVID, we're going to up the pricing. Because when COVID happened, I know a lot of people that were doing van life were in other countries, and they were forced out of that country to return back to their own country. They were forced to leave their van in that country because of insurance purposes. If you do not come back to your country, we will not help you. We will not cover your costs. If you get sick, you will not be, so a lot of people during COVID stopped. And honestly, that's what changed my mind. I'll be 38 years old in less than a month. My plan was at 45, I'm retired and I'm gone. I am doing van life. And at 45 years old, I would have enough money to buy out a van completely, pay for it cash, and build it completely. And with the amount of money that's left in my bank account, I would be able to be at least 30, maybe even 40 years on the road. I'll be 40. I would have been 45. I would have been able to travel van life until the age of, 85, 90 years old. And then COVID happened.
You see, I can. When you're saying you go put a little camper on back of your van, I can see you doing something like this.
Well, see, that's what I was talking about. That's
that's
like
someone's
that.
shed at the back of the van.
Yeah, not like that. But that's what you call a truck camper. Like that's just like a fiberglass one. But look at the one next to it with the red truck. The Ford, something like that. Maybe not the pull out like that, but like we have similar to that. But the problem with those ones is, one, the camper, now with inflation and everything, the camper and Canadian prices, you're going to pay $50,000-$60,000 for a camper like that. And then for the truck, if you're going to go heavy duty and you want something big for you, like that little pickup truck right there would never support that weight. You need something a lot bigger than that. So you're looking at a dually, and a dually GMC Sierra pickup truck, you're paying at least $120,000. So it's expensive. But the problem, hold on, the problem that I had with this is if you're gonna do it as a camper, where you're gonna go off on the weekend and you're gonna put the camper in the back of your truck like these trucks are doing, not bad. Not this one here, because this one here is like permanent. But if you're gonna do this as a life choice, because I looked into all the possibilities, having to drive your vehicle from A to B, and every time you need to access the back, you have to park, you have to get out of your vehicle, you have to walk to the side or the back, then you got to go into the back, and then the same routine when you want to drive away. As opposed to a van, you get to your destination, you put it in park, you turn around, and boom, your home's right there. You can't have.
I'll tell you what I have seen, which has caught my eye. I do want one, but the fact is, I'm not paying for the money for them.
Yeah,
it's these things, roof tents.
I looked into that, and you can get one for under like $1,200. They're not that expensive. I can't have one on my truck because I go on mine sites, but I looked into that. Yeah, I would. You know what? I would be okay sleeping in a tent like this.
The only downside for me is, if you go out for a night out, it's climbing up that ladder, or if you need the bathroom at middle at night.
Yeah, see, that's the only downfall. There's a downfall to absolutely everything, but I think these are pretty awesome, to be honest.
I think the cheapest one I've seen was about £800, and I think they go up from there. There was one for $2,000, and it's like, that's quite a lot.
And you can set it up within like 2 minutes. It's just a couple of things, and then it's popped up and it's ready to go. And yeah, I would definitely try one of those for sure as well. Like I said, like I have a company truck that I take on mine sites, and we're not allowed to have certain things. Like if it was up to me, I would keep my sled in the back of my truck year round. Especially in the winter, it adds a lot of weight. But because I go on a mine site, they don't allow me to have my snowmobile in the back of my truck, so I can't keep it in there. Tent like this, they would probably find a problem with it. But I also have spotlights and caution lights on the top of it. But yeah, these tents are awesome. I love these for sure. Yeah. And they're
Right,
practical.
next subject was
Nothing.
they're bringing retro games back.
Oh yeah, you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
think it's awesome.
what retro games is coming out that you are so
Well,
excited about?
the PS1 games are coming back out, but on the PlayStation 5. So, you've probably been too young. For those who
No,
don't know, I'm older than Combo.
you're not that older, bud. You're only a year older, I think, right? Hold on. You are, yeah, you're 39. You're
I'm
only a
40
year
this
older.
year.
Yeah,
I'm
so
40
you're
this year.
okay. So you're two. Hold on, your birthday's December. Yeah, so you're 2 years older than me.
Yep.
I know PlayStation, but name some titles. Like what's got you so excited that
So,
retro games are coming back out?
like Metal Gear Solid, that was one of the good games back then. Tactical game. Like Final Fantasy 7, that was a good RPG game. It was best of its time back in '97. I loved that game as much as I could.
But
Oh man, I'm hoping they bring Sighting Filter out.
those games,
I know.
those games have been ongoing. Like Final Fantasy, yeah, it came out in '97 for PlayStation, but it's been on. They've released other titles since. Same with Metal Gear Solid. They've released many titles since. So
But the fact is, new games like these days don't even last as long as like they did back in those days. Because back then you could spend maybe a week or so to play them. Like there was one game called Myst. Now that was a puzzle game. I literally had a book which I had to write down all the information because to be like one area, oh get this information, unlock somewhere else, then oh you got to go get some more information. But you couldn't play it because it was literally continuous until you completed the game. Then you realise,
book like this with all the information on games. Yeah, I keep books like that.
Yeah.
I got like 6 books. I'm buying what you're selling. But my point to that is they're bringing back all these retro games from the 90s. The two titles that you mentioned.
Dragon Quest. Yeah, but Dragon Quest, they were good back. You see, they bought Dragon Quest out to update consoles as well as PC, but there were so many problems with it, they ended up taking it off because it was so bad. Hogs of War. I'm literally going through Google here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, from the titles that I'm hearing,
Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider.
No, Tomb Raider
The
has
original,
been ongoing. They never stopped.
No, I mean, no, I'm on about the old classic Tomb Raider 1. Okay, they remastered it, but it's Tomb Raider 2 that I wanted to play so much because I missed it. But I can't play it on the PC because it's keyboard, and I've got to play the controller.
Tomb Raider
So
Legends, Tomb Raider Anniversary, Tomb Raider 1 3 Remastered, Tomb Raider Game of the Year Edition, Tomb Raider 1 that I have. There's 18 Tomb Raider games on Steam right now. Your argument is hold on. Your argument is they're bringing back retro games. There's 18 of them. Now, let's do the math. Let's do the math. If they release a game a year, that's 18 years of gaming just for Tomb Raider that's been released. So, indulge me. Which retro games are coming out that have not been out since the 90s? Hold on. Here's an example, Brownie. Big news. Tomorrow, breaking news. Activision is coming out with a new Super Mario Brothers. That would be the bomb. Because Super Mario 1, 2, 3, whatever. Not including the one on the Wii. They haven't done a Super Mario since the 80s, 90s. That would be different. Tomb Raider, they did 18 games on Steam since your classic games. So?
Right, here we go.
Which game?
Apes, Odyssey, Oddworld.
No clue.
Hello, follow me. The blue guy who's to tell his Mudakans to follow him and that lot. Twisted Metal, Wild Arms.
Man, you're just going off Google reading these titles. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's games
I'm
that
trying.
we
I'm
play.
trying to remember because I'm getting overexcited. I'm trying to remember what it is because I'm getting overexcited and I keep forgetting stuff. You see, like I still have some PlayStation 1 games, and about 3 of them I paid nearly £80 for because you can't buy them anymore. Do you remember Driver?
I do remember Driver, but again, how many versions of Driver did they do? Let's look on
2.
Steam. Oh, where am I? No, I'm pretty sure there's a 3. Driver 4 VR. No, that's not it. Driver Parallel Lines. There was the Driver that's not on Steam. Driver 2 that's not on Steam. Since the series began in 1999, there have been 5 installments of the game Driver.
What? I only know 2 of them.
Will there be any more Driver games? Well, actually, there is 2 games in the series that came after Driver San Francisco. However, in matter of console or PC release, Ubisoft has not announced any plans for a new Driver game. So, that's not coming back. Wikipedia says Driver 2, Driver 3, Driver Parallel Lines, Driver 76, and Driver San Francisco, then Driver Renegade 3D, and then Driver Speedboat Paradise. So technically, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games of Driver.
Wow. I do know one of them is Metal Gear Solid from the old retro games of which I have actually got on the save list. But what really got me, because I think I actually told you about, it's not compatible with mouse and keyboard, so you got to use a controller.
Yeah, you told me that. But let's use this argument again. Metal Gear Solid, the last one came out in 2023.
That was awful.
Actually,
that was not a game.
That's coming out October 24. No, that's not even released yet. November. It's being released October 24. The first 3D title of Metal Gear series, pioneering a new level of stealth action with live action footage, cinematic cutscenes, and erotic gameplay. Metal Gear Solid requires the controller in order to play it. That's the one, yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically retro. That's Metal Gear Solid, which are bringing up to today. Well, it's coming out soon.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever played.
That's
this.
what we. Dude,
I played
back to us. That was a game.
Yeah, the first Metal Gear Solid that I played was not that at all.
No, yours being this one here, the Metal Gear Solid.
It was on PlayStation 1. Well, that's the one I'm looking at right now, but that's still retro. It would have been, I don't know.
That one.
No. Was it Metal Gear Solid? It wasn't Metal Gear Solid. What's the other stealth game like that was on PlayStation 1?
Siphon Filter.
Nope.
Oh, now you got me thinking.
It got me thinking too. What's the name of that game? I can't type. ST stealth type PS.
Getting darker.
Not Stealth Assassins. Not Splinter Cell. Metal Gear Solid. Was it Metal Gear Solid? I don't think it was.
See, the first one was basically in Alaska. Second one was on the oil plant, but you played with Raiden. The third one was at Origin, where you played in the woods and all like that.
Maybe I was thinking of Splinter Cell. Yeah, I think I was thinking of Splinter Cell.
Fourth one,
I guarantee.
I think that might have been Iraq.
There's another one that I'm trying to think about right now that is just not coming to my head. Splinter Cell, Fear Effect, Siphon Filters when you said. Stealth Assassins. I guess it was Metal Gear Solid. I don't know. It's been so long. You know what?
But it's like that games like that back in the days. We loved them. You can't make games like that good as that like these days.
Depends who you ask. You can. You obviously you can make a retro style game. Again, Minecraft. Take Minecraft for example.
Oh yeah.
But people are going more for the graphics. That's why. What did you share the other day? What was that fucking video card? Was it in Gaming Lounge? Yeah. NVIDIA, new rumors. NVIDIA's upcoming with RTX 5090 video card. The gaming industry is obviously in cahoots with the industry of video cards and computers and this and that. Because if you just keep bringing out retro games like that, you'll never have the need for even a 3060 like I have or a 5090 like they're selling. You'll never have the need. People want games like, No Man's Sky, Starfield. Look, Ian's playing Starfield and the graphics. I've seen it. The graphics are amazing. That's what people want. They want bigger, they want better, they want crisper images, they want realism. That's why VR was invented. They want realism. Go on.
Like the remake of games, Resident Evil. They started putting Resident Evil as remake now. Resident Evil 2 remake, which I enjoyed. The third one was absolutely crap because I felt like they rushed it. Fourth one was more of a challenge. Literally hell of a challenge. So I got the other ones that
What? So hold on. So it was a challenge for what? Why was it a challenge?
on the fourth one.
Yeah, on whichever one. Why was it a challenge?
Because on the fourth one, as I said, they've changed it, but they've updated the graphics. But it was carrying the items, the ammo. It's like, I'm not using this ammo. I'll put it away in the chest. You couldn't do that. You had two options. You could use the ammo, sell it, or discharge it. Just keep it on hold of space.
Here's my argument on that one. It was challenging and it was harder because they changed something about the game. But you clearly said that they improved the graphics. And that's what people go for. Improved graphics. Back in our day, they used what we had. We PlayStation 1 or Commodore. I started on the Commodore. I started playing with Pong. That's all we had. The paddles and the ball. That's all we had. We had those shitty games. And we were content with that. Now, we have games that the graphics are out of this world. Brownie's being in trouble with his wife right now.
Yeah, she's cooked me tea. Like, what was it? Resident Evil 1, when they remastered that. Yeah. Back then, when Resident Evil came out, they made 3 of them. The original, director's cut, and another one I can't remember. All 3 of them played the same way in that lot, but they had extra stuff in it, or they took stuff out of it. But when they remastered it, they put all 3 games together. And I could remember some stuff when I was playing it, but it was like new stuff that I didn't like. I don't remember this. I don't remember that. But the fact is, I enjoyed it. It was a challenge. It made it a lot bigger because back then you could complete Resident Evil within the hour or so. Now, I'm happy they're bringing these old games back out to today's graphics. They're smirking away.
Yes, because I'm going back to. You brought up this topic. You wanted to talk about retro games coming back out, and the only thing that you're saying is they've remastered this game, they've changed some things, the graphics are better. They've remastered this game, they've changed some things, but the graphics are better. I understand. I think we're just not understanding each other on what like your style of retro is, because when I think retro is you're bringing back Tetris. You're bringing back a 2D game. You're bringing back the graphics that we had back in the 90s. You're bringing back what you just, like a shitty Metal Gear Solid that you just showed. You're bringing back that kind of stuff. What you're bringing up is they brought back a game that they did in 97, Resident Evil. They changed weapons, changed a little bit of the story, changed a little bit of the missions. But hey, the graphics are better. See, that's where we're falling on different paths. Because when I think about retro, I think of like 2D graphics. I think of the first Grand Theft Auto where you're just shooting straight down and the car's driving in this, you know, it's
That's coming on PlayStation 5 as well. They're bringing that on PlayStation 5, Grand Theft Auto.
as long as it's the top-down view
Yep.
from the original one, then I agree that's a retro game. I understand that, and I'm okay with that. But if you're bringing up, they're remastering GTA 1, but we're going to have GTA 6 graphics in it. Well, then how does that make it a retro game? They're remastered Resident Evil 1. They brought back the storyline from Resident Evil 1, and they changed a few things in it to make it a little bit harder for today's day and age. Oh, and the graphics are much better. That's not a retro game, though. In my eyes. So, that was your topic.
Yeah. Like you said, I've literally still got the Atari at my mum's house. Was in its box, but because she had the roof dome, the box is damaged. I remember playing that. Just a little roller, just for playing away, just playing ping pong and all that. Space Invaders.
Pac-Man. Yeah. Pac-Man, yeah. Mine was Mario. TMNT, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I played that one on the original NES. Yeah, those were good games back then for sure. But
first PC I ever had was the Amstrad 464.
Couldn't even tell you what mine was. This was a home built.
It was a tape deck system.
I think the first PC I ever had probably had 64 megabytes of RAM in it. It was probably not including a Commodore, which technically wasn't really a computer. The chipset was probably like a 500 series or something like that. Like, I really, really can't remember. I remember my first computer when I was, my first like personal computer, not like being a family computer, but my first computer that I had to myself. I couldn't play MP3s on my computer. It wasn't strong enough to play a song on my computer. Even when I've tried to play a movie, the video card in there, which was integrated, was so shit that I couldn't even play either an audio file or a video file. That's how shitty it was. Back then, computers were not. That's why we had the consoles. We had the consoles to play the games. Computers were not designed to do what they're doing nowadays. They were designed to work. They were like Notepad, Excel, forms, that kind of stuff. That's what computers were mainly designed to do: input, coding, and data. They weren't designed to play games. We had no games back then. What did you play on your computer when you had an old computer? You played pinball and Tetris.
Well,
that's what.
When we, like I said, when we had the Amstrad 646, games were on cassette tapes. If you don't know what they are, Google them. But also, we had a thick book. We had a big book, which was all coded. Which had, if you wanted to play a game, you had to put all this code down to the computer, press enter, then play the game. But the problem is, you couldn't save it. So once you turned that computer off and you wanted to play that game again, you had to put all that coded in. It was such a pain.
That was our childhood. It was good though. It was good times.
Oh yeah.
But now, like I said, I'd love to have an original Nintendo, and I bid on one on eBay the other day, and I bid $100, and I think the bid was like $30, and within like a day or two, I was outbid because they're going for a lot of money. But having what you're able to do on a computer nowadays is just phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and even though I'd love to have a console, you can't do anything with them nowadays. They're fun to play.
You see, I've got the Switch. Got it for the family so they can play Mario Kart. I thought, I've never played Legend of Zelda. Never at all. And you see, I thought Zelda was the guy. I didn't realise it was a princess. And I must have been, 18 when I found this out, because when I was playing Minecraft at the time, a lass on there was telling me how the whole story about Zelda, and I'm thinking, All right, that's just put me straight. So Zelda's the princess, and the guy's called Link. Well, I never knew that. Because why would you call it Legend of Zelda about a guy going around trying to save a princess?
I
But
can't.
That's
I can't
it.
relate.
You see, like I got the Switch, and I thought, oh, I'll get Legend of Zelda to give it a go. Legend of Zelda, the first one that came out, it's been out for maybe 5 or 6 years. It's still going for 40 to 50 quid. The price on those games on the Nintendo have never dropped.
Nope. They were very sought of for sure. I've never played. I can't relate to that one, but there's some games that just retain their value, and it's all by popularity. If Legend of Zelda was super popular when it came out, it's like Dungeons and Dragons. They were super popular when they came out. Therefore, they're still popular. Therefore, why would we lower the price when we're still making a ton of money off of it? They won't.
Let's have a look. Nintendo Entertainment Centre. One pad, no game, boxed. They'll sell for £170. So we do sell them boxed. Now the question is this the console? Is this the old version or is it the new version? Because they've re-brought out the older consoles, but more of a smaller version. If you know what I mean, with all the games built in.
Yeah, they don't sell the classic anymore. So the one that you're looking at, that's going to be the new version of the NES, which already has like 400 or something.
Yeah, it says here
in
over 500 titles built into it, which isn't a classic.
Nope, you can't buy a classic. The only time you can buy a classic now is on eBay. It's the only place that I can see, which is still going to go to that regardless of what I do. Classic Nintendo. See a Super NES. Don't want a Super NES. Just want a classic Nintendo. Classic Nintendo NES Mini Entertainment System Game Console Plus Games. So that's the new one. The only one that I can see available right now is the first one on the top, which is a classic Nintendo, one controller, and you don't even have. No, see that's the new one. Tested and working, rare. No, that's the new one. Maybe not. Storage capacity 512 megabytes.
Even so, it's like people are collecting these old retro consoles now, aren't they? As a own thing.
HDMI out. Definitely not the new one. The old one. But yeah, if you can get your hands on one of them, like get your hand on it. Like I know a guy back home that's got all these consoles and he doesn't play them. They're all on a shelf and he's got all these games and they're worth tons of money. Those are retro games. What's coming out now? Like the games that we play are not retro games, and then that's what people are buying nowadays. It's games like No Man's Sky. It's games like Starfield. Starfield blew up. Like everybody wanted Starfield, and at the price that it is, man, it's
a lot.
Truck. Yeah, people are buying it. Look at it, American Truck Simulator or Euro Truck Simulator. Those games. There's so many people playing those games all the time, and they've been out forever. If you're talking about a retro game, people that are going to be buying that retro game are going to be guys like you, guys like me, guys that grew up with that kind of stuff. You have to, when you're creating a product, you have a targeted audience of what you're going for. And in today's day and age, the targeted audience for gaming, as you would know because you betrayed your friends and you went playing Phasmophobia with other people, 12-year-olds. 11, 12, 13, 14-year-olds 15-year-olds. Those are the kids that, they're spoiled brats, get everything they want. They get all the money from mom and dad, whatever game we want, this and that. They're not going to want to play those retro games. They're going to want the newer games. They're going to want the better games. They're going to want those high graphics. They're going to want the quality of the game. They're going to want that RTX 5090 because I want the biggest, baddest thing out there.
The thing that kids miss these days don't understand is back in our days, we didn't have a save file.
We did not.
So if you died, you started right back at the beginning. Like Sonic the Hedgehog. As much as I like that game, I think I might have gone through 5 controllers in stress rage.
Oh yeah, that made us pros in gaming though, because you had to restart from the start. It's like getting over it with Bennett Foddy. If you've never played that game, I swear to God, don't ever fucking play that game because you will destroy not only your controller. Look at Markiplier rage quitting that game. He threw his fucking controller across the room. He threw his chair across the room. So much rage quitting because, exactly, there's no save.
I showed my mum that video. She went, "That's you, 100%." You see, there was one game that my mum liked on the Mega Drive, on the Sega Mega Drive, was called Whoa, the Elephant. Basically, it was a kid's game. You played an elephant. You had to kill the zookeeper to get a special key. Then you had to save your animal friends, which had special abilities like squirrel to climb, mole to dig, and all that. And there was one level that we hated so much, you had to climb all the way top of this fucking tree to kill the zookeeper to get the key to save your animals down below. The problem is when you got halfway up and you dropped down, you went straight down to the bottom and you had to do it over and over again. It was so stressful.
Yeah. No saves. And that's why I quit.
No saves.
That's why I stopped playing Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. I wanted to get to the top because I figured, it can't be that hard. Oh, it is fucking frustrating.
Have you seen the new one? Is it called Climb It? So basically you're climbing up all the stuff that's in the air. You got to jump up and climb it. If you miss one thing, you fall way back to the bottom again.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. Yeah, rings a bell. I don't see. I don't know. I don't see the enjoyment in that.
No.
Everybody's got their. Everybody's got their style.
It's like I do have a couple of games. I like my puzzle games where I can sit down, relax, and just play. Kind of like The Room. It's a puzzle game. So basically, you got to look around this puzzle and that lot, find answers and clues, and the answers and clues might be around the room itself and go along. A new one came out, The Room VR, so I might get into that. There is another VR game which I might try out and buy, but it's a supernatural horror, so it might put me on the edge. Because you know what I'm like on the way we're playing Phasmophobia, we're playing VR. You're more into it. You're more.
So say that one again, Phasmophobia.
You see, you're playing at mouse keyboard, you're fine, but when you've got the headset on, you're playing in that game, it's more terrifying because you hear everything.
Well, yeah, and you're shitty at the game too, so that doesn't help either. But you know what? I've never played VR. I'm very curious to try VR, and when I do get a VR system, whenever I decide, because my old computer was not VR ready, and I honestly, if it wasn't for my daughter, I don't think I would have replaced that computer. I just would have increased the GPU, because I still have that computer, which was supposed to go to my daughter until she changed her mind and wanted a laptop. But the deal that I had with my daughter was that I was gonna give her my old desktop computer, because we didn't know, she herself did not know, she was only 9 years old at the time, did not know what she was going to do with the computer, play games, homework, whatever it was. So I figured she wanted a laptop that turned into a tablet. And I said, I'm not going to go spend $2,000 on a laptop. So when we went camping, her mother and I had to talk, and I said, I'll give you my old desktop computer. You can decide what you want to do with a computer, if a desktop is better or a laptop is better. And then in return, I'll buy myself a new computer. So $5,000 later, I ended up with a new computer, and I still kept the old one because now I have two computers, but I don't think I ever would have changed it.
The fact is, like, VR, it is good, but the fact is I had to invest into it. Like, I had to buy a better head strap, because the one you get is actually fucking awful. The one that I literally replaced had the built-in battery, so I could play 4 hours more. Is where it twists on, so you put it on your head and you twist it on to tighten it and that lot, and you got 4 hours extra play on the back of it, on the battery pack. But you do get motion sickness a lot, because your body's not used to moving around. Can you take a step forward, or you go run? Well, the UK houses are not big as America's houses. So basically, you guys can run around.
Canadian.
You guys can run around and that. If I run around, I'm running straight to the brick wall there, which I have done. It's not very funny.
But that's why you
actually punched the wall.
That's why you bought that mat, though, right?
Yeah, which it's not an actual floor mat. It's just something I thought, oh, this is a good circle floor mat. I bought for £5. I just put that and stand on it, which helped me out. And I want to start playing the VR a lot more, but the fact is, our houses are not big enough. Like, Muppet Me here saw, oh, there's a coffee table going, someone's throwing away on Facebook for free. I'm happy I got it because the wood on it itself is 3 inches, 3 inch wood with a metal plate on top. It was a bugger to try getting that back in the car, but I'm happy. But for me to play the VR, I've got to find a home for that table so I can move around.
Yeah, but can you not?
If I was it,
can you not plan ahead and move the table out of the way before you start playing VR? That's what I would do.
Yeah. But it means I've got to move everything out. So she goes to me, "You moving everything back?" Well, it's not my job; it's yours.
Here's
What's
a question.
That? Nothing.
Is your VR wired?
Wireless. So, if I'm playing Phasmophobia or
Phasmophobia.
Yeah. The PC's upstairs. I'm playing it downstairs because I got myself a gaming router and using Wi-Fi. It does work out. But if I'm playing the VR games, I need a powerful router to play. But you can actually join up to PC, which to me is a bit stupid because like I'm sat here, I just don't have enough room to move around.
So here's a question: if your VR headset and everything is wireless and you're streaming from the computer to downstairs where you're saying that you don't have room, can you not go outside? You've got a backyard, don't you?
I look a bit weird about screaming top of my voice and everyone thinking, what the hell is this going on?
At least you're not tripping on coffee tables and kids and everything else.
Front garden, yeah, but the back garden, no, because there's a bit of a drop. I've got different levels that I've made. Like, do I take this next step and we'll go 4th garden?
It's an idea. Like,
It does come up.
I don't have that big of a space either. Like I have a 1-bedroom apartment. Like the only thing that I would do is move the chair out of the way, and I have a 6x6 area that I can play in, and that's it. So it's
until you hit your shin against something.
What's that?
Until you hit your shin against a coffee table or something like that, then it hurts like hell.
Yeah. See, I don't have a coffee table. I don't even have a couch. I don't need a couch, and I don't have room for a couch. So I don't have a couch. This is my couch right here, my computer.
My PC now, if I'm playing a VR game, sometimes it might tell me my GPU memory is not big enough. I think mine's about 8 gigabyte. So it's like, I am looking at a new GPU, like the 388 RTX, but with a 10 gigabyte memory. And it's like, oh, why would you do that? The 480 is out. Well, if I get a 480, I've got to upgrade my power cord again. Because at the moment I'm running it off an 800 unit. It wasn't running on 1000. But every time I turned PC on, it kept popping.
800 watts?
Yeah.
How are you popping an 800 watts? I have a 500 watts.
No, I was popping 1000 wattage, then I downgraded it to 800.
How are you using 1000 watts? I have a 3060. I have a NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060 12 gig GPU. I've got 32 gigs of RAM, and I've got 11th gen CPU, and I'm running a 500.
Right, so when I bought the motherboard processor, I found out my GPU and other stuff couldn't run it because the motherboard processor was too powerful. So at the time, I got a 1000 wattage power unit because I thought I'm getting a powerful graphics card. At the time, coming to the GPU, Bitcoin, crypto mining came in, and basically you couldn't get a graphics card. So I ended up getting a 2070 Super at the time, and that's what I've been winning it off. But for some reason, we couldn't understand. I think it might have been the moisture in the bedroom with damp and all that. It was affecting the power unit. So every time I was turning the PC off by the mains, it kept popping.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. So there's nothing right with that. An NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 draws power at 175 watts maximum. That is the maximum that a 2070 RTX GPU will take. 175
No,
watts.
I was going for the 380 RTX. Apparently, it needed 1,000 wattage.
Yeah, but that's not what you have.
No, but because no one was selling the 380s at the time,
So
I
you
had
were
to go
going
for
for
the 2070.
you were going for a 3080?
Yeah, Titan RTX.
285 watts. Nope, sorry, 320 watts for 3080. You could still run it. Required system was 750. See, I've got a 3060.
Thank you. What did I do? Let's have a look.
So for my GPU, they recommend a minimum of 550 watts of power supply. But the actual card for a 3060, which I'm pretty sure that's what I have. Yeah, RTX 3060 is 170 watts. It's the lowest power ampere GPU by 50 watts.
I'm just trying to find. How did I do this last time?
I know I need to upgrade my PSU, but
see, I've got the Intel. I've got the Intel Core i90 9900 GPU with 360 gigahertz, 32 RAM, of course. I can't remember what my motherboard was now. I think it was a ROG 9. I think it was. Can't remember because it was so long ago.
You should download. I'll show you a program that you should download. It's called NextCam. It shows you all your specs. So I've got my CPU spec is Intel Core i7 11700 series. GPUs an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060. My motherboard's an HP 886B. I've got two Kingston 8GB RAMs, and I've got two Corsair 8GB RAMs. 32 total. It tells you all your storage, your audio. I've got Realtek audio, my microphone, my Bose headset, my webcam, my Ethernet, and then it has your PC monitoring. Here, I don't know if I can show you.
There we go. A ROG Maximus 9 Hero motherboard.
This is what you need to get. Get this app. NextCam. This app will monitor all your stuff on your computer, so your CPU. It will tell you what your CPU is, your frequency, your the code name, the sockets, your GPU. It'll tell you all your load, your temperature, your fan speeds, your clock speeds, your RAM count. It'll tell you your peak, your timing, your count, network, storage, top processes. You can go in system specs and it'll tell you all your RAMs, your audio, your storage. And then if you want, you can shop and have all that shit there, but I already have that through mine. I don't have any ideas.
You know what really pissed me off is I've checked the wires, everything in that lot. For some reason, I can never get both of the USB ports to work on the front of the tower. Every time. I've checked the cables, I've connected it up right, and it's like, why are these two not working?
Can't tell you. Everything works on mine.
There we go.
I'm going to put that into this recording. We can keep talking, and Ian can participate. But I think we've talked about all the topics on the list for today.
Yep. Oh.
Our previous one was an hour and 16 minutes, and we toppled it by 2 hours and 18 minutes so far. So there you have it. We've had Ian at the end as an audience member. And we touched Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which is going to be interesting to see. By watching the trailer, it went on the different path that I thought it was going to go down. So it'll be interesting to see what the movie actually is. My topic of conversation was Mount Everest, because fascinated by Mount Everest. We talked about pretty much everything about Mount Everest, which we transitioned in.